Now we are going to discuss some more questions based on continuity of functions. Here you see the question is different. Why? Because it's given this way, that if x greater than 2, then fx will be 2x minus 3, and if x less than equal to 2, then fx is 2x plus 3. We have to discuss all points of discontinuity of the function, where f is as follows. You always remember that if function will be discontinuous, it will be discontinuous only at the point x equal to 2, because from x equal to 2 the function is going in two direction, in left direction or in right direction. But because we have to discuss this complete function in the whole domain, and whole domain you can see this is a real numbers, all numbers are in the domain. So we'll discuss all the points in the domain. So we can do this way, that we take, let's see, belongs to R, because R is a domain, but we can specifically mention that that C belongs to R and C greater than 2. It means that we are going to take C as more than 2. So now we'll discuss the limit x tends to C fx. See, if it is greater than 2, that it means the function is 2x minus 3. If the function is 2x minus 3, then there is no need to calculate left hand limit and right hand limit, because we calculate left hand limit and right hand limit only at that point where from right hand side the function's value is different, and from left hand side the function's value is different. But here for all C greater than 2, the value of the function will remain the same. So we'll just simply calculate. See, this function is coming this way, so limit x tends to C fx is 2x minus 3, so this becomes 2c minus 3. Also we'll calculate the value of fc, so fc will be again this 2c minus 3. So you can see that limit x tends to C fx equal to fc. So it means that function is continuous for all the points where C is greater than 2. Now we'll discuss case 2 when C will take that belongs to R and C less than 2. So when I'm taking C less than 2, then I'll calculate limit x tends to C and fx, that for all values of x, when x is less than 2, the value of the function is 2x plus 3. So we'll take limit x tends to C 2x plus 3, and this becomes 2c plus 3. And similarly we can find the value of fc also, so this is also 2c plus 3. So you can see that limit now x tends to C fx equal to f of C. So it means that function is again continuous for all the points C belongs to R where C is less than 2. So now the foremost important case is case number 3, when I take let C equals to 2. Now here we have to take both the limits, left hand limit also and right hand limit also, because when I take right hand limit means some value more than 2, means I'm going to get this function 2x minus 3. If I take some value less than 2, then I'm going to take this function 2x plus 3. So here we need left hand limit and right hand limit. But before I discuss this left hand limit and right hand limit, I'm just giving you the formula of using left hand limit and right hand limit. So at x equal to a, left hand limit will always be limit h tends to 0 f a minus h, and right hand limit will always be limit h tends to 0 f a plus h. So this a can vary. Here it right now a is 2, so our left hand limit will become h tends to 0 f2 minus h, and right hand limit will become f2 plus h. So we are going to use this formula. Those who want to use formula can use, and some of you might know how to use it directly, so you can use directly also, but I am using this formula because it can be understood by each and everyone. So take left hand limit h tends to 0 f2 minus h. So now here you have to understand very important thing. when I'm taking h tends to 0, f2 minus h. Remember, this is your x for the time being. This which I am circling is your x, and this x value is less than 2 because h is a positive value. So 2 minus h will be a value of x which is less than 2. So if x is less than 2, now you can see that we have this function x less than 2 ke liye we can use fx equal to 2x plus 3. So we'll take 2x plus 3, but you know, for x you are taking 2 minus h, so this is 2 minus h plus 3. Now you can put the value of h directly because there is no denominator, so function will remain defined. So this is 2, and when you put 0 then become 2 plus 3, this is 7. Now come to right hand limit. Limit h tends to 0, f2 plus h. Now you see 2 for 2 plus h, your x becomes greater than 2 because h is a positive value. So your x 2 plus h is more than 2. So it means our fx will be 2x minus 3. So fx is 2x minus 3, but we have to find f2 plus h. So it means that x has to be replaced by 2 plus h. So you can write that limit h tends to 0, and this will become 2 plus h minus 3. So value of this will be, now this is 2, 4 and minus 1, this is 1. So you can see that your left hand limit and right hand limit are not equal. So you simply say left hand limit not equal to right hand limit, and which implies limit does not exist. Limit does not exist, and there is no need to calculate now f2, because if limit does not exist, you simply say that f is discontinuous at x equal to 2. So your answer that they were asking you which all the points of discontinuity of f. So it means there is only one point which is the point of discontinuity, and that is x equal to 2. Now we discuss this fx equal to x upon mod x if x less than 0, and minus 1 if x greater than equals to 0. So here in the corner I would like to define the modulus function, how this modulus function is defined. So remember this, how we define modulus function in class 11th and in class 12th. This is mod x equal to x if x greater than equals to 0, and equal to minus x if x less than 0. So if we know this basic fact, then we can convert this function again. Then if x is less than 0, it means then this x and this mod x will become minus x. So the value of this will be minus 1 if x less than 0, and this is already minus 1 if x greater than equals to 0. So you can now simplify this, that fx is minus 1 for all x belongs to R. So this is what you can conclude here. For x less than 0, this is minus 1, and for x greater than equals to 0, it is minus 1. So you can write in simple that fx equal to minus 1 for all x belongs to R. And now you see this that your function is a constant function, and constant functions are always continuous. So this is actually y equal to minus 1. So this is a straight line parallel to x-axis, so that has to be continuous. But now we have to show this that they are continuous. So now we are not taking c less than 2 greater than 2 in as we have done in previous question. Now we'll take simply, let's see, belongs to R. C belongs to R means this is a point of domain, because domain is your real number. So I have taken that C belongs to R. Now if I calculate limit x tends to C, then you know that what is going to happen. Your answer is going to be minus 1, and f of minus this f of c is also going to be minus 1. So it means your limit now this which implies, therefore you can say limit x tends to c fx equal to f of c. So it means the function is continuous throughout its domain. So better modulus questions, you first convert that according to x greater than equals to 0, then you write x, and if it is minus x less than 0, then you write minus x. So always you simplify the function and then proceed. Now come to question number 3. This question number 3 is asking us that is the function defined by fx equal to x plus 5 if x less than equal to 1, x minus 5 if x greater than equal to 1, a continuous function. So it means the function will be continuous throughout its domain if it is continuous at each and every point of its domain. So you can see the domain is the real number because x less than equal to 1 and x greater than equal to 1 greater than 1. If you combine these two, then x belongs to real numbers. So now but we'll take again in 3 cases. Case 1 when let c belongs to R and c, you in first case you may take c greater than 1. So as I discussed earlier, c greater than 1, for the time being you can take an example that x equal to 2, that c the value greater than 2, you can assume that c equal to 2, and now you start with left hand limit. You take directly limit x tends to c fx. See, you take x tends to c fx and fx, and for the time being you take it as c is 2. For example, this is 2. It could be any value, but you can take it as 2. So for if x c is 2 greater 2, it means it is greater than 1. It means for that c equal to 2, your function will be x minus 5 because this is greater than, this is for greater than 1, and we have this value c equal to 2 which is already greater than 1. So we are going to choose function x minus 5. So we'll take limit x tends to c, and this will be x minus 5. So we can write this c minus 5, and fx, the value of fc will again be c minus 5. So you can see that limit x tends to c fx equal to fc. So it means f is continuous at c. F is continuous at c. I'm going to write this CTS in short form for remaining questions. Now we'll take case 2. Case 2 we take let c belongs to R and c is less than 1. Now you see, when I'm taking c less than 1, it means that value you may assume as let's say c equals to minus 2. And why we are not taking left hand limit and right hand limit, you can understand from this concept. If I take c minus h, if c is minus 2, so it means it becomes minus 2 point something, let's say 1, if h equal to 0.1 for example. So even in that case c, this is minus 2 and this is minus 1, so it becomes minus 2.1. even in that case that value of c minus h will remain x plus 5 for minus 2.1. and if I take c plus h, then it will become minus 2 plus 0.1, and you can say minus 1.9. so 1.9 is still less than 1. So in both the cases, left hand limit and right hand limit, the function is going to be same x plus 5. So that's why we never take left hand limit and right hand limit. So simply we take limit h, this x tends to c fx equal to limit x tends to c, and fx you are going to choose according to this is x plus 5. So this is going to be c plus 5. Similarly, fc is also going to be c plus 5. And now we'll discuss case 3, which is the most important. Now we discuss the continuity of the function at c equal to 1. So you take c equal to 1 and take left hand limit. If left hand limit is then h tends to 0. This is 1 minus h. So 1 minus h means 1 minus h itself is less than 1. So for less than 1, you know the function is x plus 5. So for less than 1 x, but x should be replaced by 1 minus h. So here this is 1 minus h plus 5. Now put the value of h equal to 0, then it becomes 6. come to right hand limit, limit h tends to 0, 1 plus h. So 1 plus h means limit h tends to 0, 1 plus h plus 5, because x is 1 plus h now. So 1 plus h plus 5, put again this value. So this is again 6. So this is 1 plus h. So you may say something that you may use this, I can making it bold, 1 plus h plus 5, this is equal to 6. Now f1, we want to calculate f1. So f1, you see, when x equal to 1, even that case the fx is x plus 5. Here when I'm taking 1, it means that I'm taking x equal to 1 exactly. So this is 1 plus 5, so it is 6 again. So you can see that limits value and this function value at this point is same. So we say that f is continuous at c equal to 1. So you can see in all cases we have discussed all the points of the domain. So now you can say that f is continuous function throughout its domain, R. So this is how the procedurally you have to show that whether function is continuous or not. So we'll now move to the next question. Now come to question number 16. In that question number 16, you can see that we have more than one turning points. More than one turning point means to say, here you can see that for x less than equal to -1, it is 2. For x greater than -1 less than equal to 1, this is 2x, and x greater than 1 equals to 2. So in that case, we have to check the discontinuity at x equal to -1 and x equal to 1, and greater than 1 will be one more, and less than 1 will be one more. So there will be actually 4 cases. So we'll start one by one. Case number 1, you take, let c belongs to R, and we are taking now c less than -1. So when I take c less than -1, so take limit x tends to -1, x tends to c, and this is fx. So this becomes limit x tends to c. Now you have to choose for value of c which is less than -1. It means this coming into this category -2. So your function is -2, so answer will be -2, and f of c will also be -2, because we are taking that c less than -1. So you can see that limit exists at this point, and it's equal to the value of the function at that point. So we can say f is continuous for all points of c where c is less than -1. Come to case 2. Case 2, when I'm taking, let c equals to, c belongs to R and c greater than 1. I'm taking now this case when c is greater than 1. In that case, we'll take limit x tends to c fx. Now here you have to focus one more thing, that if x greater than 1 means, if I'm taking c greater than 1, it means it's x now for the time being. So x greater than 1 means c is greater than 1. So you may assume some value, let's say for your convenience, I can take this value as 2. C is 2. So it means if c greater than 1, then function's value is 2. So you can take this limit x tends to c 2, and the answer will be 2, and function's value at this point is also 2. So you can see again that f is continuous for all points of c where c greater than 1. So case 2 are very obvious that they will be continuous. But now case number 3, at which I'll take c equal to 1, and case number 4 where I'll take c equal to -1, that is going to be the point where f can be discontinuous. So let's say case number 3, let c is equal to 1. So when I'm taking c equal to 1, I have to take limit h tends to 0. I'm first calculating left hand limit. So my left hand limit will be limit h tends to 0 f1 minus h. Now 1 minus h, you see 1 minus h is 1 minus h is less than 1. So 1 minus h is less than 1, and for less than 1 the function is 2x. So here I am going to take this function 2x, but x has to be replaced by 1 minus h because this is f1 minus h and we have fx equal to 2x. So this will become 2 1 minus h. So put the value, so it becomes 2. Now come to right hand limit. So right hand limit will be limit h tends to 0 f1 plus h. Now for f1 plus h, you see that for 1 plus h it will be more than 1. So if it is more than 1, the function's value is 2. So your limit is going to be 2. So you can see now up to this point this both limits are equal. Now come to the value f1. f1 means you can see this less than equal to 1. So it means for x equal to 1 your function is still 2x. So put this 2 into 1, your answer is this 2. So we can say if that left hand limit equal to right hand limit equal to f of 1, it implies that f is continuous at c equal to 1. So now till now we have got all points as continuous points, but now the last point is left, which will be your, let's see, this is case number 4, and let c equals to minus 1. So we'll take now left hand limit. This is limit h tends to 0 f minus 1 minus h, because c you are taking now minus 1, so this is minus 1 minus h, and if it is a small value, that it means this is going to be, for example, this is going to be 1 minus 1.1 if I take h equal to 0.1. So 1 minus 1.1, you see where it exists, it's coming now here, because on the number line you draw 1 say less than, for all the values less than 1. So this 1.1 minus 1.1 will be less than minus 1. So its answer is going to be minus 2. So this answer is minus 2. Function's value is given minus 2. So limit will remain this limit remain as it is, because there is no x. So simply we write this 2. And right hand limit will be limit h tends to 0 f minus 1 plus h. Now here is important thing that you should note down, minus 1 plus h. It means minus 1 you are adding some positive number. So for the time being you take h as 0.1. So if you take h as 0.1, then this value will be 0.9. So 0.9 is less than 1. 0.1 is less than 1. So this is minus this is greater than minus 1. No, you come to this will be your this value for the time being is minus 0.9. Minus 0.9 is greater than minus 1. If it is greater than minus 1, your function is 2x. If some of you are getting confused, you please take some examples. That minus 1 h I am taking as 0.1. 0.1 is very small positive value. So minus 1 plus 0.1, so it will be minus 0.9. Minus 0.9 is greater than minus 1. So the function's value will be limit h tends to 0 2x. 2 and x has to be replaced by this minus 1 plus h. So after putting the value, you are getting now this as minus 2. So till now we have got both the values same, so this is okay. Last step is left where I check for f minus 1. So f minus 1, you can see that last top one, for even x less than equals to 1, your fx is minus 2. So this is also minus 2. So you can see that left hand limit equal to right hand limit equal to function's value at that point. So from case 1, case 2, case 3, we can see that f is continuous in R. So in general, we can say this function is continuous at all points of its domain. Now come to question number 17. This is the most important questions, and it was asked in the exams also, CBC exam. Find the relationship between a and b so that function this fx is defined at x equal to 3. So when I say this function is continuous at x equal to 3, it means that left hand limit equal to right hand limit equal to function's value at the point 3. So this is, now we have at x equal to 3, left hand limit, right hand limit and function's value are same. So we are going to use this relation and we'll find what is the relation between a and b. So I start with left hand limit. So left hand limit h tends to 0, and f 3 minus h. You see 3 minus h, this value is less than 3. H is very small positive value. So your function is ax plus 1. So you write limit h tends to 0. Function is ax plus 1, but x has to be replaced by this 3 minus h. So this is 3 minus h plus 1. Now you put the value h, then this becomes 3a plus 1. So this is your left hand limit. Come to your right hand limit. This is limit h tends to 0, f 3 plus h. So now this 3 plus h is more than 3. So if it is more than 3, then function for more than 3 is that bx plus 3. So we'll write that bx, but you at place of x you will write 3 plus h plus 3. So this becomes 3b plus 3. And now finally f3 means when x equal to 3 exactly, then this is your 3a plus 1. So this is equation number 1, this is equation number 2, and this is equation number 3. Now you know that all three equations are equal. So I am taking equation number 1. Let equation number 1 equal to equation number 3. So what relation I get? You see that 3a equal to 3a. So that is very obvious. So better we take 2 equal to 3, because here b is there and a is there. So if I take 2 equal to 3, then it becomes 3b plus 3 equal to 3a plus 1. So this can be written as 3b minus 3a equal to minus 2, or you may say 3a minus 3b equal to 2. So both equations are accepted, and you see this is what the relationship between a and b. They have not asked us to find the value of a and b. They have asked us to find the relation between a and b. So you have to leave this answer here. But this type of questions are very, very important and asked in the exam.